AI golf lessons. What's the world coming to? They have apps for everything, and now they have an app to help you replace me and others like me. Do I agree with it? We're going to find out in the video. We're going to look at swings that I recorded second generation, so keep that in mind that when I recorded these swings, I recorded to use my iPad, so there could be some discrepancies, but I wanted to show you this app. I wanted to show you its features and how it recommends changes, and working for you or against you, we'll have to decide. Thank you for the recent support. I really appreciate it. It helps us get clubs and needy children in South Africa to help introduce them to this great game. So if you do like this content, hit that like, subscribe, share with somebody you know. And I want you to let me know, have you used this application called Sparrow? Do you find it beneficial? Is it helping your game? Is it hurting your game? Today we're going to find out, because I think there's some positives, but there's also a lot of negatives. So let me know in the comments below what you think. But without further ado, let's fire up those AI robots to see if they're going to replace me in the near future. Right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go, Sparrow, and this is an AI tool that is guided to help you replace me. And I don't know if this is going to work. I took these videos straight from a second generation, so basically I recorded the video through my iPad on my computer screen, so it is a little grainy, some of these older ones, and we can see that the AI has some issues with it. But let's start with the Jack Nicklaus, the Golden Bear himself, and let's take a look at some positives and negatives for you to know. Anything in red is something to be addressed. Anything in orange is, hey, keep an eye on this, and anything in that blue, aquamarine, whatever that color is, means you are doing well. So let's take a look at what Jack is doing well. He has a good bend at the waist. You versus Pro, you can kind of see yourself with the Pro, which is kind of nice to see. And there's no quick fix because, according to this, you did fantastic. Same with the arm hang. We can see good arm hang is a great indication that you're standing the correct distance away from the ball, and you can compare yourself with a professional. Swipe up for comparison. We can see that, hey, we kind of look the same, I guess. But let's take a look at some negatives. What is going on here with his legs? His legs are too straight. Now start with straight legs, then flex your knees slightly to center your weight on your feet or in your feet, and make sure you stay balanced and stable. Now here is a quick fix for you. Your knee flex at address is key for establishing a balanced athletic posture for your golf swing. Having proper knee flex, it's the same thing. And what is this pro tip? Start with straight legs, then flex your knees slightly to the center of your weight, and make sure it's the same thing I'm reading. So I'm not quite sure. Now we can set this as a goal for us, so it'll keep that in mind and say, hey, great, you've reached your goal, congratulations. So that's kind of cool. And we can see the club face should be pointed to your belt buckle, so we can go quick fix. How do we fix this? Let's take a look. We have make sure the club shaft points to your belt buckle. That's not quite a quick fix because it's not addressing why it is. Now arm length has a big deal to this. Ratio of your torso has a big to this. Do you have long legs, short legs? All this plays a part. So the problem when you start to generalize instruction is it's not tailored to the individual. And Jack Nicklaus, if he was following this AI model, he would have changed his swing unnecessarily because it worked for Jack Nicklaus. And then your swing works for you or it doesn't work for you, and we have to make the changes based on you and not a model. And there are companies out there like GolfTech that made a pretty good living doing this, but if you want tailored instruction that is not model based, that's the way to go. Let's take a look at Mr. Hogan. Now Mr. Hogan, hey, your back is too straight, Mr. Hogan, you're going to hurt yourself. But let's take a look at the quick fix. We need to see, same thing. Your back is way too straight, Mr. Hogan. And the pro tips, you stand over, lean over from your hips like you're taking a bow. Keep your shoulders back as you feel a stretch in the back of your knees, slightly flex them. Again, this has to do with range of motion. Most of us nowadays sit in the car, sit in the office, and our hamstrings are as tight as a violin. Some of us just cannot have that posture. Now, unless you are addressing that concern and how you can fix that, that pro tip doesn't really help out much. And we can start to see that this is the model. Now, if we take a look at the backswing, we can see that, hey, there's a yellow mark. Use your shoulders to take the club back and keep your arms relatively straight early in your backswing. There's too much arm bend, Mr. Hogan. I don't know what you're thinking, but let's change that. Let's look at the quick fix. Trail arm bends too much during your takeaway. The pro's arm stays relatively straight. I see a slight bend in the pro's arm, so I'm not sure what they're talking about. It looks pretty similar to Mr. Hogan's. The big difference is that guy on the right side has a little bit more hip turn to allow him to keep that arm straight. So instead of talking about your arm being straight, you might have to address why your arm might be breaking down, which is lack of rotation. The more rotation you have, the more you can get those arms to maintain their length. And the pro tip is the exact same thing. So I'm starting to see some cookie cutter answers for all this stuff. Mr. Hogan does some good things as we get down through. He keeps the club on plane, which is pretty obvious for Mr. Hogan. And here we have that right knee. Looks pretty good. Now, wait a minute. Didn't it say? No, it's talking about the hips. Okay. But once you see here, this is where the glitch happens. Next frame, you see that line. I don't know why it does this line. And it just stops from the analysis at that point. So, Mr. Hogan, sorry about your luck. Tiger Woods, let's take a look at Tiger. Now, Tiger, this was the way it cropped this video is it cropped it in the backswing, so this thinks it's set up. But let's move on forward to the next checkpoint, and we can see that Tiger has great hip rotation according to the AI. Now, Tiger's notorious for restricting his hips back then, and he coils around those restricted hips. But this is saying you have a good hip turn now. Good hip turn to me is anywhere from 30 degrees all the way to 50, depending on your range of motion. I've seen more than that, just depending on what the body is able to do and how by restricting it you can help it, and by accessing more turn you can destroy some things. So just keep an eye out with that. As we're coming on through, we can see great spine tilt and a great leg straightening, and elongating your body on impact will result in more power and distance. Let's take a look at me versus the pros. Yeah, we look identical. All right, next up we have Nelly. So Nelly, we can see that Nelly's posture, and I've done a swing analysis on Nelly. She is definitely toe based, and this will change a couple of things. If this is one of the top 1,000 ball strikers in the world, we have 3 reds and 1 green. So what does that really tell you about this process? Is if you start falling for this, it might make your motions worse, because things work in unison. They help each other out. It's a chain reaction. If you start changing things without understanding why they are in that position, you are asking for trouble. We can see that she needs to bend her knees more because they're more straight, but we don't know why they're more straight. It doesn't explain that. We're too close to our body, and our club face needs to point to your belt buckle. As we take that club back, we can see that Nelly now all of a sudden has some greens where they were red, and we can see that the hands are slightly outside. We come on through, we get to some oranges. Now they're back to orange. So there's a lot of inconsistencies here. Back knee is a bit locked. I don't think it's a bit locked. What's the other one? Keep your head down during the backswing and rotate around your spine axis rather than standing up. We can see that there is a slight increase. What does this say about the quick fix? You are standing up during the backswing. The pro stays down and maintains his posture. Well, I think she's a pro, and she maintains her posture pretty well if you're talking about 3 or 4 degrees. So if you want to start getting nitpicky over stuff, but again, cause and effect. Why is she standing up? It could be the weight distribution on her toes. It could be injury avoidance. We don't really understand, and this program doesn't understand that too. And we come on through. Now all of a sudden she's back on plane, and the next frame we can see impact. Now all of a sudden we have a great spine angle. So it went from a hey, watch out for this to hey, you got a great job. So do I change it or not? Because I got down at impact pretty well, but the backswing, you told me to watch out for it. So if I focused on the backswing to try and maintain my posture at impact, I might be too much down and striking the big ball, which is earth, instead of the small ball. So just be careful of this stuff. I think it's great to understand a couple things, but I wouldn't really utilize it as much as they are wanting us to. So now we have Min Woo hits the ball a mile, and I did a swing analysis on him too. He's also staying slightly too straight. We can see club shaft needs to point to the belt buckle. It looks like it's a little bit above the belt buckle, so it's not that big of a deal. As we take that club back, we can see that the pro tip, you must move your hand straight back. And again, we're starting to see these same things come back. It's recommended the exact same thing to Jack Nicklaus. We come on through at the top of the swing. We can see he's back on plane. We can see at the top of the swing, now everything's turning green. As he drops it on down, I'm not sure why there's a red. It didn't even pick anything up. And at impact, we can see that he is now got a great spine angle. So we got a couple more. I'm going to skip a couple of these just to see now who we have. We have Collins. So this is the takeaway, but it still thinks it's the address, but everything's looking good. good. I'll tell you what, that looks about as good as you can do on the takeaway. Club face angles matching your spine tilt angle. You can see the nice little circle where those hands are and the club head is. And what does it say? Move. Your takeaway is outside. Now, that is not really outside to me. If anything, it may be slightly steep. We're talking 3 or 4 inches slightly steep. It looks pretty right on to me. And the quick fix, let's see what they say about the quick fix. So, wait a minute. I think the one on the right side looks a little bit more outside than the one on the left side. The one on the left side looks pretty good to me. As we move on forward, top of the swing, everything, I would imagine it's a knee flex. There's nothing about spine angle, which is a little bit strange. As we come on through, this is where it gets a little bit funky because it's caught in between 2 frames. So if he connected to the one on the top, which is about the same time, we can see that that club will go right through into his golf ball. So it would have been green, but here it is yellow. And as we come on through, everything's back to green. Great spine tilt. And we'll go with one more. Let's take a look at the Great Tiger. Now, it's giving some reds to Tiger. This is a little bit strange. Legs are too straight. I do see some leg bend, so I'm not sure if I agree with that. Arms are too close to the body. I can see why you would say that. And club face should be pointed to your belt buckle. It looks like it's pointed to the belt buckle. Now we come on up to takeaway, and we can see some good stuff. Oh, there's something here that it won't let me do. What's going on here? So it won't let me click. No, that's a little bit frustrating because it won't let me click that red. So there's a little red over there, and every time I click it, it says hide analysis. So I guess it won't be able to help me with that. But you can see, here's the one issue with this, and it could be because of my 2nd generation filming. It thinks that the golf ball is right here when it should be there. So based on this, and the club angle is not quite on there. So yeah, it's close enough for government work, and it could also be the fact that this is a 2nd generation recording, but it's getting everything in a nutshell. What does it say here? That looks pretty steep. Club is dropping the slap, priming you to attack the ball on a great path. So what do I think about using this type of equipment? I think the technology is really interesting and cool. The fact that you can record your swing and have AI just look at all these angles and give you some ideas on what to work on. Does it have any benefits? Depends on the person, depends on the knowledge they have. If you are brand new to the game, I can see why this could help you understand the basic principles of a golf swing. However, when you start comparing yourselves to the best in the world and try and emulate what they do, you could run into some issues. But I'm sure this is the tip of the iceberg. Hopefully soon they'll release a update where it has a cause and effect model where it can analyze you, maybe take some body measurements for you. Maybe there's a whole page that you can submit on your history, and it can start to recognize your injuries, any range of motion issues. They can do a little TPI testing for you where you fill out how much rotation degrees you can get. It can watch you do this stuff and figure it out for you, and then start to give you a plan that can work for your body type, structure, injury history, all that stuff. So I'm sure in the future, this will be something that will replace me. Golf instructors are a little bit like bartenders. We like to talk to our students, and our students like to talk to us, and that's a good thing, and I don't think AI will ever replace that. But let me know what you thought in the comments below. Let me know if you use this type of stuff. Let me know if you think you're going to use it. But nothing at this point in time beats an in-person lesson. But if you do use this and you've had success, let me know in the comments below. But other than that, take care everybody, and I'll see you for a swing evaluation video tomorrow. Fairways and green.